Picture this. Thousands of years ago, humans stared at the night sky, probably thinking, what's up there? And why does it look like someone spilled glitter on a giant black canvas? Back then, we didn't have telescopes, satellites, or even proper maps. Just wild guesses and endless imagination. People believed the Earth was the center of the universe. I mean, can you blame them? It felt pretty special, spinning around like it owned the place. Then came science, and well, reality hit hard. Turns out the Earth isn't the center of anything. It's just one of 8 planets, or 9 if you're still rooting for Pluto like me, orbiting the Sun, which is basically a giant nuclear reactor in space. Over time, we started naming planets, spotting moons, and even sending rovers and probes to check things out. But what is most exciting thing is, as much as we've learned about our solar system, there's still so much we don't know. And some of them are so rare and fascinating facts that scientists have uncovered will make you see our cosmic backyard in a whole new way. In this video, we'll take you on an incredible journey, from the blazing sun to the icy edges of the solar system, uncovering the most fascinating, little-known facts about each planet. And stick around till the end, because we'll discuss the most mind-bending, jaw-dropping secret of our solar system towards the end. Ready to take off? Let's dive in. All right, let's kick things off with the star of the show, literally. For 4.6 billion years, it's been the powerhouse of our solar system, giving us warmth, light, and yes, the occasional sunburn. But how much do we really know about it? Thanks to groundbreaking missions, we're uncovering some incredible secrets about our star. For instance, scientists believe the Sun might have a long-lost twin. It's thought to have been born in a massive star cluster alongside other stars, and one of them could still be out there somewhere in the galaxy. The European Space Agency's Gaia spacecraft is mapping billions of stars in an effort to track down this potential sibling. Imagine discovering the Sun has a twin. It's like stumbling across an old family photo with a mystery relative. But it's not just what's beyond the Sun that's fascinating. Its surface is a chaotic, dynamic place. Plasma tornadoes spin at breathtaking speeds of up to 300,000 kilometers per hour, made of superheated, charged particles. These storms can grow as tall as 14 Earths stacked on top of each other. The Sun's surface isn't just hot. It's a constant whirl of activity that reminds us how alive this star really is. Now here's something we experience every day without realizing its incredible history. Sunlight. The light that warms your face today started its journey in the Sun's core about 100,000 years ago. It spends millennia bouncing through the Sun's dense interior before breaking free, and from there, it takes just 8 minutes to reach Earth. So, the sunlight we see is not just bright, it's ancient. The Sun isn't just our source of light, it's also a cosmic protector. Its solar wind creates a vast bubble called the heliosphere, shielding the solar system from deadly cosmic rays. NASA's Voyager 1 and 2 probes cross this boundary into interstellar space, giving us our first glimpse beyond the heliosphere. This protective bubble stretches billions of kilometers past Pluto, acting like a shield for everything in the solar system. But the Sun isn't always calm. Every 11 years, its magnetic field flips in a cycle that causes solar flares and coronal mass ejections, massive bursts of energy that can disrupt satellites, GPS systems, and even power grids. Missions like Proba 3 are studying the Sun's corona to help predict these solar storms. It's a reminder of how connected we are to the Sun's activity, even here on Earth. The Sun is more than just the center of our solar system. It's a dynamic, powerful star that shapes life as we know it. And the more we learn about it, the more fascinating it becomes. Now, let's leave the Sun behind and move to the closest planet in its orbit, Mercury, which has its own set of mind-blowing secrets. Let's dive in. If the Sun is the blazing campfire, Mercury is the daring adventurer sitting way too close, trying not to get burned. But don't let its small size fool you. This planet has a personality as intense as the Sun's heat. First, let's talk about speed. Mercury doesn't just orbit the Sun, it sprints around it at an incredible 47 kilometers per second. That's faster than any other planet in the solar system. To put it into perspective, If you could drive a car at Mercury's orbital speed, you'd circle the Earth in less than 9 minutes. It's like Mercury is constantly late for something. But while it's racing around the Sun, its own rotation is hilariously slow. A single day on Mercury, that's one full spin on its axis, takes 59 Earth days. Imagine waiting 2 months for the Sun to rise again. Talk about an extended snooze button. And here's where Mercury really surprises us. It's a planet of extremes. On the day side, temperatures soar to a jaw-dropping 430 degrees Celsius, hot enough to melt lead. But flip to the night side, and it's a freezing minus 180 degrees Celsius. With no atmosphere to trap heat, Mercury experiences some of the wildest temperature swings in the solar system. You'd need both a spacesuit and a parka just to survive a day there. Oh, but Mercury isn't done showing off yet. Hidden in the shadows of its polar craters is something completely unexpected. Water ice. Yes, ice, even this close to the Sun. How? These craters are permanently shaded, meaning sunlight never reaches them. This discovery was made by NASA's Messenger spacecraft, which orbited Mercury for 4 years and gave us incredible insights. And now, the Bepi-Colombo mission, a joint project by the European Space Agency and JAXA, is on its way to study the planet even further. It's like Mercury has been holding on to secrets for billions of years, and we're just now cracking them open. And let's not forget Mercury's surface, which tells the story of a battered survivor. It's covered in craters, the scars of countless impacts over billions of years. One of the most fascinating is the Caloris Basin, a crater so massive it could fit Western Europe inside. The impact that created it was so intense, it sent shockwaves through the planet, deforming the surface on the opposite side. Mercury quite literally took a hit and kept going. So while it may be the smallest planet in the solar system, Mercury is a heavyweight in terms of surprises. From its extreme temperatures to icy craters and jaw-dropping speed, it's a planet that keeps us guessing. After Mercury's whirlwind tour, let's move one step farther from the Sun to Venus, the planet that looks like Earth's twin but behaves like its evil doppelganger. At first glance, Venus seems like it could be a cozy neighbor, but don't be fooled. Venus is basically the solar system's version of an extreme survival show where everything is turned up to the max. Heat, pressure, storms, you name it. Let's start with the atmosphere. Venus is wrapped in a thick, toxic blanket of carbon dioxide with clouds of sulfuric acid. Yes, acid. If you ever thought Earth's weather was bad, imagine needing an umbrella that can survive acid rain. This atmosphere creates a runaway greenhouse effect, making Venus the hottest planet in the solar system, even hotter than Mercury, despite being farther from the Sun. We're talking surface temperatures of 475 degrees Celsius, hot enough to melt lead, or more realistically, fry anything we'd ever send there. And about that surface, Venus is a place where your weight doubles, thanks to the crushing atmospheric pressure. It's about 90 times greater than Earth's, equivalent to being nearly a kilometer underwater. So, not only would you roast, but you'd also be squashed like a pancake. Let's just say Venus doesn't roll out the welcome mat for visitors. But what's even stranger is Venus's day-night cycle. Venus spins so slowly that a single day lasts 243 Earth days, longer than a year on Venus, which is just 225 Earth days. And to make it weirder, Venus rotates backward compared to most planets, so if you could somehow survive on Venus, you'd see the Sun rise in the west and set in the east, but only once every couple of centuries. Here's where it gets even more fascinating. Scientists believe Venus might have been Earth-like billions of years ago, with oceans and a climate that could have supported life. So, what went wrong? Missions like NASA's Pioneer Venus and ESA's Venus Express have been digging into its past, and now NASA's Da Vinci Plus and Veritas missions, set to launch in the next decade, will help uncover whether Venus was once habitable or if it was always this hostile. And let's not forget Venus's volcanic activity. Its surface is dotted with massive volcanoes, lava plains, and strange dome-like structures called coronae. Scientists suspect Venus might still have active volcanoes today, making it one of the few planets where the surface is still evolving. Talk about a planet that refuses to stay quiet. So, there you have it, Venus. the fiery, toxic, backward-spinning inferno that might have been a paradise billions of years ago. It's a planet that reminds us just how fragile and unique Earth really is. From the blazing inferno of Venus, let's cool things down at least a little and make our way to Mars, the planet that's captured our imagination for centuries. Mars has been called the Red Planet, but it might as well be called the Intriguing Planet, because every rock, canyon, and dust storm on this world seems to hide a story waiting to be uncovered. First things first, why is Mars red? Well, the planet is covered in iron oxide, or as we like to call it, rust. That's right, Mars is basically a giant, rusty rock floating in space. But don't let its color fool you. This planet is full of surprises. For starters, it has the largest volcano in the solar system, Olympus Mons. This giant stands nearly 22 kilometers tall. That's 3 times the height of Mount Everest. It's so big that if you were standing on its base, you wouldn't even realize you were on a mountain because the slope is so gentle. And speaking of size, Mars also boasts the longest canyon in the solar system, Valles Marineris. This canyon stretches over 4,000 kilometers, longer than the distance from Los Angeles to New York. If you're looking for an epic road trip destination, Mars might just be it. You just need a spacesuit and, well, a way to get there. But what makes Mars truly fascinating is the question of life. Could there be, or could there have been, life on Mars? That's what missions like NASA's Perseverance rover and China's Zhurong rover are trying to figure out. Perseverance is even collecting rock samples to be returned to Earth in the future. It's like Mars is sending us postcards with clues about its ancient past, one dusty rock at a time. And let's talk about water. Mars may look like a dry, dusty desert, but scientists have found evidence of ancient riverbeds, lake basins, and even underground reservoirs of liquid water today. These discoveries fuel the hope that if life existed on Mars, it could have thrived billions of years ago when the planet was wetter and warmer. Some scientists even suspect that life on Earth might have started on Mars and hitched a ride here on meteorites. How's that for a plot twist? Oh, and here's one more thing Mars is famous for. Dust storms. These aren't your run-of-the-mill storms. They're massive, planet-wide events that can last for months and block sunlight completely. In fact, a dust storm is what ended the mission of NASA's Opportunity rover after 15 incredible years of exploring the Martian surface. Rest in peace, Oppie. You were a good rover. Mars is more than just a planet. It's a time capsule, a giant question mark, and maybe even a future home for humanity. But before we pack our bags for Mars, let's set our sights on the next stop in our solar system journey, the king of all planets, Jupiter. Get ready, because this gas giant is about to blow your mind. All right, fasten your seatbelts because we're heading to Jupiter, the biggest, baddest planet in the solar system. If planets were royalty, Jupiter would be sitting on the throne wearing a crown made of gas and moons. This giant is so massive that it's over 300 times heavier than Earth and could fit more than 1,300 Earths inside it. Yep, it's basically the landlord of the solar system, and we're just tenants. First, let's talk about its most iconic feature, the Great Red Spot. This gigantic storm has been raging for over 300 years, longer than the United States has existed. It's so big that you could fit 3 Earths inside it. Imagine a storm so massive it could swallow entire planets. And while we're on the topic of storms, Jupiter's atmosphere is a chaotic mix of ammonia clouds, violent winds, and storms that make Earth's weather look like a light drizzle. But Jupiter isn't just about storms, it's also home to a mini solar system of its own. With at least 95 moons, and counting, Jupiter is like the popular kid at school who always has an entourage. One of its moons, Europa, is especially intriguing. Beneath its icy crust lies a vast ocean of liquid water, making it one of the most promising places to search for alien life. NASA's upcoming Europa Clipper mission, launching in 2024, will take a closer look, and who knows, we might just find something swimming under all that ice. And then there's Ganymede, another of Jupiter's moons, which holds the title of the largest moon in the solar system. It's even bigger than Mercury. Ganymede is the only moon with its own magnetic field, which, let's be honest, is pretty cool for a moon. Meanwhile, Io, another one of Jupiter's moons, is like the solar system's volcanic hotspot, with over 400 active volcanoes erupting all the time. It's literally a glowing, fiery ball of chaos. Now let's talk about Jupiter's influence. This planet's massive gravity acts like a cosmic vacuum cleaner, pulling in comets, asteroids, and anything else unlucky enough to wander too close. In fact, Jupiter has saved Earth more than a few times by diverting potential threats. Think of it as the solar system's bouncer, keeping the party safe for everyone else. And if you're wondering how we know so much about this giant, it's thanks to missions like NASA's Juno spacecraft, which has been orbiting Jupiter since 2016. Juno has given us breathtaking images of Jupiter's swirling storms and stunning auroras, along with insights into its composition and magnetic field. It's like we're peeling back the layers of this gas giant one orbit at a time. Jupiter isn't just a planet, it's a force of nature, a protector and a reminder of just how small we are in the grand scheme of things. But don't pack up your spaceship just yet, because next we're heading to the most elegant planet in the solar system, Saturn. Get ready for rings, moons, and a lot of jaw-dropping discoveries. With its dazzling rings, Saturn is like the solar system's fashion icon, strutting its stuff and stealing the spotlight. But trust me, there's a lot more to this planet than just its good looks. First up, those famous rings. They're made of billions of particles, ranging in size from tiny grains of dust to massive chunks of ice as big as a house. And they're not as solid as they look. If you flew through them, it'd be more like driving through a snowy day than smashing into a wall. These rings are believed to be the remnants of comets, asteroids, or even moons that got too close to Saturn and were shredded by its gravity. Talk about a rough breakup. But here's the real kicker. Saturn's rings might not be around forever. Scientists believe they're slowly disappearing, raining down onto the planet like a cosmic drizzle. In about 100 million years, they could be gone completely. So if you're planning a trip to see them, you might want to hurry up. Now let's talk about Saturn's moons, because this planet doesn't just have a few, it's got 83 and counting. One of the most fascinating is Titan, Saturn's largest moon. Titan is covered in thick orange clouds, and it has rivers, lakes, and even seas, not of water, but of liquid methane and ethane. Imagine a world where it rains gasoline. NASA's Dragonfly mission, set to launch in 2027, will send a rotorcraft to Titan to explore this alien world. It's basically a flying science lab on another planet. And then there's Enceladus, another of Saturn's moons, which might just be one of the best places to look for life in the solar system. Beneath its icy crust lies a global ocean, and it's not shy about showing it off. Enceladus shoots massive geysers of water vapor into space. The Cassini spacecraft, which orbited Saturn for 13 years, even flew through these plumes and found organic molecules, hinting that Enceladus could be home to some form of life. It's like Saturn's moons are holding a galactic treasure hunt, and we're just starting to find the clues. And here's a fun fact. Saturn is the lightest planet in the solar system. It's mostly made of gas, so if you had a bathtub big enough, and who doesn't dream of that, Saturn would actually float in water, though good luck fitting it in your backyard pool. Thanks to missions like Cassini, which gave us thousands of stunning images and groundbreaking discoveries, we've learned more about Saturn than ever before. Cassini even ended its journey by diving into Saturn's atmosphere in 2017, like a cosmic mic drop. Its legacy lives on, giving us a better understanding of this majestic planet and its mesmerizing rings. Saturn is more than just a pretty face. It's a world of mysteries with moons that could harbor life and rings that remind us of how fleeting beauty can be. But don't put your telescope away yet, because next we're heading even farther out to Uranus, the planet with a tilt that's as unique as its name. Let's dive in. Let's step into the quieter corner of the solar system, where Uranus silently orbits like the introvert of the planetary family. This icy giant doesn't shout for attention like Jupiter or sparkle with rings like Saturn, but don't let its calm demeanor fool you. Uranus is full of oddities that make it one of the most fascinating planets we've ever discovered. First up, Uranus isn't just tilted, it's toppled. While most planets spin like tops, Uranus rolls on its side with an axial tilt of 98 degrees. Scientists believe this cosmic accident happened billions of years ago when a massive object, possibly as big as Earth, collided with it. The result? Uranus now has one pole constantly bathing in sunlight for 42 years, while the other pole stays in total darkness for the same amount of time. It's like the solar system's longest summer and winter rolled into one. Now, about those temperatures, Uranus holds the title for the coldest planet in the solar system, dropping to a bone-chilling -224 degrees Celsius. That's colder than Neptune, even though Neptune is farther from the Sun. Why? Uranus doesn't generate much internal heat, which means it doesn't have the warmth radiating from within that other planets do. Basically, Uranus is the ultimate icebox of the solar system. And here's a surprise for most people. Uranus has rings, 13 of them. They're faint and subtle compared to Saturn's, but they're there, quietly circling the planet like a minimalist's dream. These rings were discovered in 1977, and thanks to the Hubble Space Telescope and other advanced observations, we've learned that they're made of tiny particles, some no bigger than sand grains. It's proof that even Uranus has a flair for elegance. But the real stars of Uranus's story are its moons, all 27 of them. Unlike other planets, Uranus's moons are named after characters from Shakespearean plays and Alexander Pope's works. There's Titania and Oberon, straight out of A Midsummer Night's Dream, and Miranda, a moon with a surface so strange it looks like someone tried to build it with leftover Lego pieces. Miranda's cliffs and craters suggest it went through some serious geological drama in its past, and scientists are still piecing together its story. And let's not forget Uranus's discovery. Back in 1781, William Herschel spotted it while scanning the night sky with his telescope. At first he thought he'd found a comet, but nope. Uranus turned out to be an entirely new planet, expanding humanity's view of the solar system. It was the first planet discovered with the aid of a telescope, marking a huge milestone in space exploration. Now what about the future? While Voyager 2 gave us a flyby look at Uranus in 1986, scientists are eager for a closer look. There's growing interest in sending a dedicated mission to Uranus to explore its moons, rings, and atmosphere in detail. After all, with so many unanswered questions, Uranus is like an unsolved cosmic puzzle just waiting to be cracked. From its icy tilt to its Shakespearean moons, Uranus may seem quiet, but it's brimming with mysteries that keep scientists and the rest of us on our toes. Next, we're heading even deeper into the solar system to Neptune, where wild winds and stunning blue hues await. Let's dive in! As we leave Uranus behind, let's journey to the farthest known planet in our solar system, Neptune. This deep blue giant is like the mysterious stranger at the edge of the solar system, calm and serene on the outside, but hiding wild storms and secrets beneath the surface. If you thought Uranus was unique, Neptune is here to up the ante. First, let's talk about its color. Neptune's stunning blue hue comes from methane in its atmosphere, which absorbs red light and reflects blue. But don't let its beauty fool you. This planet is fierce. Neptune is home to the fastest winds in the solar system, reaching speeds of up to 2,100 kilometers per hour. That's 1.5 times the speed of sound. Imagine standing in a storm where the winds could rip apart anything in their path. Neptune's storms are so powerful, they could make even Jupiter's great red spot look tame. Speaking of storms, Neptune has its own version of Jupiter's great red spot. Back in 1989, NASA's Voyager 2 spacecraft captured images of the Great Dark Spot, a storm so large it could swallow Earth. However, when the Hubble Space Telescope looked again, years later, the storm had vanished. Neptune's storms come and go like cosmic tempests, appearing and disappearing over time. It's like the planet is constantly reshuffling its weather system, keeping us on our toes. But Neptune isn't just about its atmosphere, it's also surrounded by a faint set of rings. While they're not as flashy as Saturn's, Neptune's rings are unique. They're clumpy and uneven, with bright arcs in some areas and gaps in others. These rings are thought to be relatively young and are still a bit of a mystery to scientists. Why are they so irregular? What are they made of? Neptune isn't giving away its secrets so easily. Now let's talk moons. Neptune has at least 14 moons, but one of them steals the spotlight. Triton. Triton is not just any moon. It's the only large moon in the solar system that orbits in the opposite direction of its planet's rotation. Scientists believe Triton was once a dwarf planet like Pluto before Neptune's gravity captured it. This retrograde orbit and its icy surface, complete with geysers spewing nitrogen gas, make Triton one of the most intriguing places in the solar system. NASA is even considering a future mission to Triton to explore its potential for life. After all, where there's ice, there's hope. And here's a fun fact. Neptune takes a whopping 165 Earth years to complete one orbit around the Sun. That means since its discovery in 1846, Neptune has only made one full trip around the Sun. It's the slow and steady champion of the solar system. Thanks to Voyager 2, which remains the only spacecraft to visit Neptune, we've gotten a glimpse of this distant world. But there's still so much we don't know. With its dynamic storms, mysterious rings, and moons like Triton, Neptune reminds us that even at the edges of our solar system, there's plenty to discover. And that wraps up our journey through the planets. But don't go anywhere just yet. Coming up next, we'll zoom out to explore the most curious and lesser-known facts about the entire solar system. Trust me, you won't want to miss this grand finale. And now let's head to the icy outskirts of our solar system to visit the most controversial little world of them all, Pluto. Once hailed as the 9th planet, Pluto was demoted to dwarf planet in 2006, breaking hearts around the globe. But don't feel too bad for Pluto. It might be small, but it's packed with surprises that make it one of the most fascinating places in the solar system. First, let's clear up one thing. Pluto may not be a full-fledged planet anymore, but it's still a heavyweight in the Kuiper Belt, a region of icy bodies beyond Neptune. In fact, Pluto is the kingpin of its neighborhood, with 5 moons orbiting it. Its largest moon, Charon, is so big that it doesn't really orbit Pluto. They actually orbit each other. It's like a cosmic dance between two partners who just can't let go. Now, about Pluto's surface, this little world has a heart. Literally. The bright, heart-shaped glacier on its surface, called Sputnik Planitia, is made of nitrogen ice and stretches over 1,000 kilometers. What's even cooler is that this glacier is constantly reshaping itself, thanks to convection currents below the surface. Pluto's heart is alive and beating, geologically speaking, which is pretty rare for a world this far from the Sun. And Pluto isn't just cold, it's freezing. Temperatures can plunge to minus 240 degrees Celsius, cold enough to freeze just about anything. But here's the twist. Pluto's atmosphere is made of nitrogen, methane, and carbon monoxide, and it's so thin that it freezes and falls to the surface as snow when Pluto moves farther from the Sun in its elongated orbit. That's right, Pluto snows its own atmosphere. Talk about a planet that knows how to multitask. Speaking of orbits, Pluto takes 248 Earth years to complete one lap around the Sun. To put that into perspective, the last time Pluto was in its current position, it was 1776, and America was declaring independence. So yeah, Pluto is taking its sweet time. And let's not forget the mission that put Pluto back in the spotlight, NASA's New Horizons spacecraft. In 2015, New Horizons flew past Pluto and sent back stunning images of its icy surface, towering mountains, and hazy atmosphere. It was a moment of cosmic redemption for this little underdog, showing the world that Pluto is more than worthy of our attention. Pluto may be small and far away, but it's full of surprises, from its icy heart to its dynamic atmosphere and unique orbit. It's proof that even at the farthest reaches of the solar system, there's so much more to learn and marvel at. But before we wrap up our journey, let's zoom out even farther to explore the biggest mysteries and mind-bending facts about the solar system as a whole. Trust me, you're going to want to stick around for this. We've journeyed through planets, moons, rings, and icy worlds, uncovering secrets and marvels along the way. But the solar system isn't just about individual planets. It's also about the incredible mind-bending phenomena that connect them all. So, let's zoom out and explore the most fascinating facts about the solar system as a whole. Brace yourself. This is where it gets truly cosmic. First up, did you know the solar system is huge? And I mean really huge. The distance from the Sun to Neptune is about 4.5 billion kilometers. But that's just the beginning. The outer edge of the solar system, called the Oort cloud, extends up to 100,000 times farther from the Sun than Earth does. It's a vast, icy frontier filled with comets that could hold clues to the origins of the solar system. If you could travel at the speed of light, it would still take you nearly a year to cross it. That's how massive our solar system truly is. Now, here's something that might blow your mind. Most of the solar system is empty space. The planets, moons, asteroids, and even the Sun make up just a tiny fraction of the solar system's volume. The rest is an endless void. Cold, dark, and silent. It's like a cosmic reminder of just how small and precious life on Earth really is. And speaking of precious, have you ever wondered where all the gold, platinum, and other heavy elements on Earth came from? The answer lies in ancient stars that lived and died long before our solar system was born. These stars exploded in massive supernovae, scattering their elements across the galaxy. Eventually, those elements coalesced into our Sun, planets, and even us. So every piece of gold jewelry you own, it's literally stardust. Kind of makes you feel fancy, doesn't it? Now here's a fact that'll make you rethink the solar system's layout. It's constantly moving. The Sun itself is orbiting the center of the Milky Way galaxy at a speed of 828,000 kilometers per hour. That means the solar system isn't just sitting still. It's hurtling through space, completing one orbit of the galaxy every 225 million years. The last time we were in this part of the galaxy, dinosaurs roamed the Earth. And finally, let's talk about something truly mysterious. The possibility of a hidden planet lurking at the edges of our solar system. Scientists have long speculated about Planet 9, a massive, undiscovered world far beyond Neptune that could explain the strange orbits of certain objects in the Kuiper Belt. While we haven't found it yet, telescopes around the world are scanning the skies, hoping to catch a glimpse of this elusive giant. If we ever do, it could completely reshape our understanding of the solar system. Our solar system isn't just a collection of planets. It's a dynamic, ever-evolving masterpiece of cosmic engineering. From the Sun's fiery heart to the icy edges of the Oort cloud, it's filled with wonders that remind us how vast, mysterious, and extraordinary the universe truly is. And there you have it, an unforgettable journey through the solar system, uncovering secrets and marvels that make our cosmic neighborhood so unique. But remember, we're just scratching the surface. With new missions and discoveries happening all the time, who knows what incredible stories the solar system will reveal next? So, what was your favorite fact? Let us know in the comments below. And if you loved this adventure, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you won't miss the next one. The universe is vast, and there's always more to explore. Until next time, keep looking up and stay curious.